think there is some miscommunication regarding today's topic. It is given as the preventive geriatrics. It was a mistake at the administrative level. So as per the schedule, today we are going to start a new chapter, and that's a very important chapter for all sections of the society, and it is a chapter which should be learned by each and every person. A good knowledge of this topic is mandatory for even a common man, and this topic is being taught from childhood, even when you are a primary school child, and some amount of this topic has been told to you, and will continue. After you have come to the medical college, probably each and every department deals with this topic. I hope you understand what I am going to talk to you. Today I am going to speak on the various aspects of nutrition relevant to community medicine. Okay, is it clear? Now, nutrition is such a vast and broad topic, and it is just not possible for everyone to complete the chapter within a stipulated time. That's why each and every subject nutrition is taught. When you are in physiology, probably you are taught about the physiological aspects of nutrition. And when you are in biochemistry, they must have taught you about the biochemical structures of the various nutritional substances. And when you go to the general medicine, they must have taught you various nutritional deficiency disorders. Like that, even when you go for surgery department, they will teach you the nutrition of the surgery patients, post-operative patients. So this way, this nutrition topic is present everywhere. So it is taught by each and every doctor in the medical college. So similarly, the Department of Community Medicine also teaches that portion of nutrition which is relevant for the community. So that's why it's usually called as community nutrition. So all of you will accept that term nutrition is not known to you. It is not a new term for you. It's known to you since a long time. From your childhood, they must have taught you about nutrition. Now, when you want to define what is meant by nutrition, probably most of you will not be able to answer the question. How do you define nutrition? I still remember when I was taking the few introductory classes for the MBBS students elsewhere, I asked a question, define nutrition. They said, almost half of the batch was not able to answer my question. Some people said that it is food. Some people said it is the way you eat. Somebody said it is diet. So like that, nutrition is not defined properly. I hope today I will make it very convenient for you to see that you will not make a mistake when you are asked to define nutrition. Okay? So anybody who would like to define nutrition at this point of time, you can send a message, chat, you can chat with me. You can chat with me now. Any one of you among the participants? Okay, please, you can chat with me about nutrition. Okay. It's a Latin word. The term nutrition is a Latin word. It has come from the word known as natricus. N-U-T-R-I-C-U-S. Natricus means to suckle at the breast. Suckling means taking milk. The child, when the child is put to the breast, the child will start the movement of the mouth, and it starts squeezing the milk from the breast. That is called as suckling. So suckling at the breast. It is a reflex that is known to newborn baby. Not only human being, even all the mammals, they know how to suckle at the breast. So that simply says that the nutrition starts from day one. Okay, the moment you are born, you require nutrition. So you start suckling and you start taking the milk and other liquids. So, what is exactly nutrition? As I said, it is not diet, it is not food, it is not the various vegetables or rice or something like that. It is a dynamic process. It is never-ending process. It is there throughout our life. It starts from day one when you are born, and it only is completed, the process is completed only at the time of death. Till you are living, the process of nutrition goes on. So it is not a static one, it is a dynamic process, never-ending process. It begins at birth and ends at death. Okay, dynamic process beginning at birth and ending at death. It involves mastication, deglutition, digestion, absorption and assimilation. Okay, some food is given to you, you just put it in your mouth, you start chewing it and masticate it, you mix it with saliva, and when once it is well mixed with saliva, you start swallowing it. That's called deglutition. And after it is deglutition is over, it reaches your stomach. There in the stomach, the acid is produced and it is partly digested in the stomach, and then there are digestive juices in the stomach, gastric juices. They partly digest, and then it is passed on to the intestine, where the remaining part of the digestion occurs, and then it reaches the distal part of the small intestine. It starts getting absorbed, and when once it is absorbed, it is into the blood circulation, and there it is getting assimilated. It is used by the body. So this is a very dynamic and complicated process involving mastication, deglutition, digestion, absorption and assimilation. And nutrition is a dynamic process which provides energy, building blocks and protection from the disease. So whenever you are eating for three purposes. You require energy. So when you are sitting, when you are sleeping, when you are talking, even when you are fast asleep, you require energy. That is, basal metabolic rate, BMR is there. The heart is pumping, and your lungs are moving, and your blood circulation is on. Even some muscles are also moving. Even during your sleep time. So for all these movements, you require energy. So if the food is not there, you do not have the energy. The energy is given by the food. And suppose if you are born as a baby of about 3 or 4 kgs, and you become, say, 100 or 120 kgs, or 60 kgs, whatever it is, how that growth is obtained? The growth is obtained by the building blocks supplied from the nutrition. The building blocks in the forms of protein, they are obtained from the nutrition process. And then during your lifetime, you are subject to various infections and various problems of disease problems, and you are trying to protect yourself from all these diseases, and this protection is given by nutrition. So why you are eating? You are eating for the sake of energy, you are eating for the sake of growth, and also you are trying to eat for the sake of protection from the disease. Say for instance, COVID-19, what people are talking, don't get panic, eat well, have a good balanced diet. If you are eating process is very good, you will not get COVID-19 this. Then why they are talking like that? Because when you are eating food material, you are getting the proteins, and from the proteins, antibodies are produced, and even the various cells, the immunological cells are also produced because of the food, and these things are being there in the body. They are trying to fight with the organism. They are giving you a lot of protection. So now, whenever you are asked to define nutrition, you will define like this. If you want, you can write it down. Nutrition is a dynamic process which begins at birth and ends with death, and it involves mastication, deglutition, digestion, absorption, and it provides energy building blocks in protection from the disease. Such a big definition. If you remember, only then you are right. Okay? Don't simply say nutrition is food, nutrition is diet, nutrition is vegetables. All these things are layman's definitions. Okay? So this process goes on, and when once the process is on, you are well protected, you have got good energy, you have got a good growth, all these things happen. Okay? Now, I would like to give you some definitions regarding the nutrition. We talk about nutritional disease or nutritional disorder. What is a nutritional disorder? Nutritional disorder, any disease disrupting any of these processes. What are the processes? Mastication, deglutition, digestion, absorption, and assimilation. Any disease which is causing disruption or difficulty in any of these 5 processes, it can be called as a nutritional disorder. You understand this point? Nutrition doesn't mean that should have some ulcers in them or then only nutritional disorder. Any process which causes a problem for all these types of processes can be called as a nutritional disorder. Aphthous ulcer, is it a nutritional disorder? Yes, because aphthous ulcer is due to vitamin B deficiency, and when once there is an ulcer, you cannot eat well, you cannot chew, you cannot masticate well, so it is a nutritional disorder. Pharyngitis, is it a nutritional disorder? Yes, it is a nutritional disorder because you cannot swallow. It will not allow you to swallow the food. Echlorhydria, lack of acid in the stomach. Echlorhydria, again, there is a problem of digestion. Deficiency of intrinsic factor, again, it is a problem of absorption. Diabetes, it is the problem of assimilation. Okay? Aphthous ulcer deals with deglutition, the disruption of deglutition, deglutition of mastication. Pharyngitis, it obstructs the deglutition, and echlorhydria causes problems of digestion. Intrinsic factor, it causes problems of absorption. Diabetes causes problems of assimilation. So these are the 5 important examples which can be called as nutritional disorder. So from this, what is that you understand? Nutritional disorders are not few, they are plenty, and all these disorders put together can be called as nutritional disorders. It is a very broad spectrum disorder. Now, because we said that most of the diseases are due to nutritional problems, now a point comes whether 100% of diseases are nutritional in nature. No, it's not so. There are certain diseases which are not relevant for nutrition. So, for instance, there is a pigmentation on the malar region of the cheek, of the face. So this pigmentation, people used to think that it is the deficiency of iron. It is not so. So people have, the scientists have proved very definitely that it is not a nutritional disorder. It is some allergic manifestations. All allergic manifestations, they are nowhere related to the nutritional status. Whether you have got a good nutrition or a bad nutrition, you are eating well or balanced diet, everything is good, but still you may get an allergy. So they are not nutritionally relevant. And nutritionally doubtful relevance, there are some diseases where the nutritional link is not provided, is not proved. So there are some nutritionally doubtful and relevant diseases. So there are, so broadly speaking, as far as nutritional disorders are concerned, there are three types: nutritionally relevant, nutritional non-relevant, nutrition doubtful. So for instance, you're talking about tuberculosis. Is it a nutritionally relevant disease? Yes. When you are not eating properly, your immunological status is compromised, so you get into tuberculosis when you are undernourished. Okay, so these are the three important types of nutritional disorders. Then we go further to define other topic, other terms. Nutrition is a double-edged weapon. If you eat well, you get into problem of overnutrition. If you don't eat well, you get into problem of deficiency. Undernutrition, and it's also called as hypoalimentation. It is common among the developing countries. Overnutrition, hyperalimentation, it is most common in developed areas. So in the developing countries, we have got the problem of protein energy malnutrition. In the developed countries, you have got the problem of obesity. Okay, that's why we call nutrition as a double-edged weapon. You have to eat sufficient amount of food and should not eat more or less. Okay. Now, I always tell my students and also my colleagues that when you want to eat something, you should be eligible to eat that much food. Suppose if you are already obese, you are having some 50-60 kgs extra, you are not eligible to eat so much food. So you have to eat something which maintains your energy, because you are already having a lot of nutrients inside your body. So you have to think about it, whether you are eligible or not. A normal nutrition is eco-alimentation. It is very rare thing. And if you try to take the weights of say 1,000 people, probably maybe 10 or 15 people have eco-alimentation status, or it is rare, and the remaining people either they are undernourished or they are overnourished. So nutritionally speaking, very few people can be called as normal. A balance between the two extremes is very important to improve your life and give a good standard of living and quality of life. So this knowledge of nutrition is a must, not only to you, but also for a common man, because he has got a sort of a feeling that I should eat more when I get something, and when I don't get something, I don't want to eat something like that. This sort of idiosyncrasies of eating should not be allowed. From day one, they should be taught what to eat, what not to eat, when to eat and when not to eat. All these things should be taught, and that is called as community nutrition. Now, what is meant by food? Anybody would like to define the term food? I'll be very happy, because these are terms which you know very well, but you are not in a position to define it properly. Because if you want to pursue some science, some subject, some chapter, you should have a correct and basic knowledge of the various definitions. Okay. Now, How do you define food? Anybody? Please chat. Please send your definition of food. Can you listen? Can you hear to me? Can you? Any one of you? Please respond. To gain energy, no, that is not the definition. What is meant by food? Definition of food. Only one response. 7 of you are sitting there. Hope all of you are there, or you just switched on your mobile and went off from that place. Well, I don't want to wait further. Food is defined as a composite mixture of edible substances. This is a wonderful definition of food, right? It is not one. So many types of food materials are there. So many types of eatables are there. It's a composite mixture of edible substances. Please underline edible substance. Edibility means something which you can eat. So something which you can relish. Okay. I'll give you a very simple example. I'm giving you banana, right? So I want you to eat that. Is it a food? Answer yes or no. Yes. I will say no, because banana becomes a food only when it is peeled. Because you don't eat banana along with the peeling. You have to remove the peeling and then you eat it. So what is edible there? Only banana which is inside. That is the food. And the food is being wrapped by the peeling. Only when it is removed, it becomes food material for you. Okay? Now do you understand what is meant by food? Food is a composite mixture of edible substances. Okay. Now, edibility is relative. Again, whatever is edible to you may not be edible to me, right? Okay. Yeah, I have one grand um, 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 one grand parent, very old man. He is no more now. Whenever banana is given to him, he never used to peel it off. He used to eat along with the peel. That means the banana as a whole is food for him. For me, banana is a food only when the peel is removed. So do you understand what is meant by relative? Food of you may not be food for me. You are going to tribal areas, they are catching red ants, they are not even cooking the red ants. They make a chutney out of the red ants and eat it. And they bring a lot of vegetables and leaves and so many other things which you have not seen in your daily routine, that they eat those vegetables and leaves and those things. They eat a lot of animals. they eat so many other things which you never eat. Say for instance, you go to Assam, they grow the dogs in the shed, just like we grow the cows and the buffaloes and goats and all these things. And they kill the dogs and eat those dogs. It is a food for them. Is it a food for you? No. Even if you are hungry, the meat from the dog is given to you, don't eat. So it is not a food for you. It is a relative term. What is food for you may not be food for me. What is food for me may not be food for you. Okay? So the term edibility is very important. It is a relative term. It changes from person to person. It changes from culture to culture. For a strict vegetarian, any non-vegetarian food is not a food for him. It is not edible. So a strict vegetarian, meat is not edible. Chinese, anything is edible for them. You know one fact, Chinese eat even the dead fetuses. And they eat the monkey brain. They eat the tiger bones. They eat so many things which you can't understand. They eat so many types of snakes. So Chinese, everything is edible for them, whereas we do not eat all those things. So what is food for a Chinese may not be food for an Indian. Northeastern area, in Assam, dog is edible. The Indian tribes, they eat red ants. So I am trying to describe the variability of the food material, but all these things is food material as long as you relish it, as long as you are eating it, as long as you are happy with that. Okay? One man's food is another man's poison. That is also important. There are certain allergic foods. Some people, when they eat that food, they immediately get into allergic problems. Sometimes they may even die. Okay, so there are some people who are allergic to the garlic. Some people are allergic to onion. Some people are allergic to some types of fishes. So whatever is a food for one person may not be food for the other person. Maybe on the other hand, maybe a poison. Okay, you understand now what is meant by food? Food is a composite mixture of edible substances. Now we go further to define terms, other terms like diet. What is meant by diet? I can only see one person answering every time. What about others? Particular selection of food is called as diet. Okay. Now you write down this definition. Total food consumed, anything, maybe vegetarian, not, by all the family members in one day. That is called as diet. Eat something for breakfast, eat something in between, and eat lunchtime, in the evening snacks, and night something to eat. There are some people who will eat in the night time also. They get up around 11 o'clock, they eat something. All that food material consumed by all the family members put together is called as the diet. Right? Is defined as the total food consumed by all the family members in one day, that is 24 hours, starting from morning to evening to the midnight. Whatever that you are eating, it is called as food, as a diet. There is nothing like individual diet. There is nothing like one person's diet, because food is always consumed by family members. Suppose 1 kg of rice is cooked and it is served to all the people. Some people may eat more rice, some people may eat more vegetables, some people may eat more rasam, some people may eat more curds. Like that, there is a variation in the consumption of the various items. But all these food materials consumed by one family together, there may be three people or 4 people or even 10 people in a family, in one full day, it's called as a diet. And it also includes the food that is consumed outside. One person has consumed his breakfast and has gone to the office. There in the office there is a party, and he was eating some cakes and biscuits, and all that should be included in the family diet. So you have to remember diet is a very specific term where you have to calculate the total food consumed by all the family members, including those people who have gone out and come back, and that also has to be taken into consideration, and it's for the whole day. Okay, so you have to remember this definition. And when we are talking, there is an exception. When we are talking about balanced diet, there is a prescription for one individual. And if there are 10 people, each member of the family has to go to the balanced diet chart and calculate the total amount of food that is consumed by the body. So balanced diet, the term is exception where it is prescribed for one individual. So you have defined what is meant by nutrition, you have defined what is meant by food, and you also defined what is meant by diet. We have got one more type of diet, therapeutic diet. For a diseased person who is having hypertension, we should have different type. People having diabetes, they should have separate diet like that. The diet when you are sick, again it's an individual diet. Now, one more term we have to remember, dietary cycle. What is meant by dietary cycle? The dietary cycle is pattern of food consumed by all family members for 7 consecutive days. That means why dietary cycle is defined? Because you don't eat the same food every day. So you go to the family and try to note down what they have consumed today. You may be making a mistake because that particular day they were fasting. They got some religious rites, and so you take the details. This is how we have got we took only 1 glass of milk, and then we may be consuming a little bit of rice in the night. So if you take that into consideration, you to remember they are taking very less food and they should be undernourished, but they are looking nice. So you should not take 1 day's dietary intake as the you have to take every day. You have to go to the family, you take every day's consumption and make it 7 days, and then make an average of all those things. You get the correct picture of what they are eating. So that's 7 days food intake is called as dietary cycle, and it is presumed that in a week's time there will be changing of the pattern of the foods can be known to all of us. So dietary cycle is one more definition that we have. Then we come to next one, that is what is meant by meal. I completed my meal. I'm going to meal. I'm going for the meal. This is a term that is often used. So what is meant by meal? Meal is a dietary consumption of an individual. Meal is not like diet. Meal is a individual consumption in one sitting, right? So usually we have about 3 or 4 meals in a day, right? You've got a breakfast, 1 sitting, then we may have wait till lunch, then we got evening snack, then we go for the dinner. Some people may have 10 meals in a day. They go on eating, they eat something, and after some time, after half an hour again, they start eating. So it is the meal pattern that is important. Meal pattern is that important. It is said that people are eating too many meals a day, they are at a high risk of getting obese. So there are usually 4 types of meals: breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner. And many meals there are many meals in an individual diet. And the meal pattern has to be studied when you are trying to treat any disease related to the nutritional disorders. So you have to find out the dietary pattern of the people, you have to find out the meal pattern of the people, and you also have to think about the types of foods that are. Now we come to the last and most important definition, that is nutrients. Nutrients are important inorganic and organic ingredients. There are 5 types of nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Just like you have got 5 fingers, you have got 5 types of nutrients. And the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and vitamins, these are the 5 things. Carbohydrates give you energy, proteins give you partly some energy and all, but they are more useful for building the body. Then fats, it is a concentrated energy. Vitamins give you protection, minerals give you protection. If you are taking the food should contain all these 5 types of nutrients. If you are not taking all the types of 5 types of food nutrients, you are at a risk of getting into deficiency status. The first 3 are known as proximate, that is carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The first 3 are called as proximate. So with this, I have given you a brief introduction to the nutrition, where I have defined what is meant by nutrition. I have defined what is meant by diet, dietary cycle, the meal, and the nutrients. All these things should have a good knowledge about. Whenever I ask you the question of a definition, even in your Viva, I want you to give this definition. Hope you understand clearly the introduction to the nutrition. And next week onwards, we have many nutritional chapters. You follow the schedule that is given to you, and we'll be talking to you on these things. So I stop at this point. We have any questions? Any questions? Thank you. Meet you again.